Officers consider opening the box to stop him, but Grazer's way ahead of them. One officer strikes him, but he's not giving up.
10 dumbest criminals caught on camera. If you've been caught doing a crime, odds are you aren't in the first place. In this video, we've compiled the list of some of the dumbest criminals who were caught in the act for everyone to see. Here are the 10 dumbest criminals caught on camera. Number 10. Chased down by your own gun. It was a normal day in Denver, Colorado. The year was 2018, and vaping was at its peak. Vape kits were being sold at hundreds of dollars each. This led to a spike in crime related to stealing e-cigarettes and robberies at vape stores. While it is unfortunate that they became a target, it was also led to the world seeing this hilarious video. A man walked into a vape store, armed and ready to steal some vape kits, or some cash from the counter. What makes this so funny is how bad this criminal is at his job. Even before the cashier could notice that the man was a thief, he managed to drop his gun over the counter before falling on his behind, trying to jump over the counter. The cashier smartly grabbed his gun and chased him out of the store with it, before calling the police. Number 9. Locked at the crime scene. In April of 2017, an armed robber walked into a Houston store and attempted to steal some money before leaving. What started out as an extremely tense scene quickly turned into hilarity. The employee working there acted quickly and rushed all the customers in the store outside. After leading the customers to safety, she locked all the doors in the store, putting her own life at risk. The criminal knew he couldn't get out without her. And he didn't want any extra charges on top of the robbery charge he was definitely going to get now. So despite acting all tough in the beginning, he started to plead with the employee to let him out. Before begging, he even shot at the door in an attempt to break it open. After numerous tackles and attempts to break the door, he knew what was going to happen next and said, "I'm going to jail." He did end up going to jail, so that was the only smart thing he probably said that day. Number 8. Interrupted by the police. In 2016, Ralph Alita was starting off his day with reading Metro Taxi when a man armed with a gun, wearing a mask, jumped into the backseat of his car and threatened to kill him unless he gave him all of his money. Terrified, Valita emptied out his pockets and his wallet and was only to pull out $11 as his shift had just started, and he'd barely earned any money. Instead of leaving with the $11, the criminal stayed and accused the driver of hiding his money. What he didn't know was that the holdup would end up sending him to prison. Not having examined his surroundings before the robbery, the criminal completely overlooked the fact that there was a police car right behind the cab. And as soon as the police saw the gun he was holding, they turned on the police siren, leading the criminal to freeze. He was eventually arrested, and Valita managed to escape without any injuries or damages. Number 7. Jumping off the balcony. Usually when we show you idiots like this, they haven't already been convicted of a crime. But this genius was truly something different. Christopher Clay Rudd was on his way to another court hearing after he'd been convicted of an undisclosed crime. Seeing no way out of it, Rudd decided the only way he could be a free man again is if he makes a run for it, and he did. While being in handcuffs in a heavily guarded courthouse with multiple armed security officials and law enforcement agencies both inside and outside the building, Rudd decided to run away during the break and jump off the indoor balcony while being chased. Predictably, instead of making it out safely, he ended up breaking a few bones. We don't know if his brain damage got any worse during the fall though. If it's even possible at this point. Number 6. The luck of the Irish. In 2015, after a heavy night of drinking, an Irishman thought to ignore all safety guidelines and drive home in his luxury vehicle. The only problem, other than drunk driving, was that he didn't have a luxury vehicle. So he saw a white Mercedes parked outside the pub and decided he would break into it and hotwire it home. After a few unsuccessful attempts at trying to break the window using stones, he grabbed a brick laying nearby and threw it right at the window. Normally, it would have worked, but this car was way too strong and the brick ended up bouncing right back to his face, knocking him out. There are really no winners in this story, outside of the Mercedes marketing department. Number 5. Falling through the ceiling. When we think of police chases, we normally think of high-speed road chases with fire and drifts. We don't really expect the police to be chasing a couple through a convenience store. This is exactly what happened in 2018 at an Edmonton supermarket. This couple attempted to rob the store completely unarmed and were stopped by police at the exit after running around the whole store. The man was tased by the police, giving his female accomplice time to find a new escape. Turns out his girlfriend was just as dumb as him. And while the man was being arrested, the girl stuck in the back of the store and went into the vent, as if it was some sort of movie. Little did she know the vent was not nearly strong enough to support her weight and her stupidity. and she came crashing down to the floor, weakened enough for the police to arrest her. Number 4. Social media points. The search for social media clout knows no bounds. While normally, criminals are taught to hide their faces when committing a crime, but when a first-time burglar, Rodney Knight Jr., broke into a family's house in 2011, not only did he not hide his face, but he posted himself for the world to see. The 19-year-old stole money, an iPod, and a laptop from their home and immediately posted a picture of his face, with him holding a score on his Facebook, or so he thought. In reality, Rodney forgot to log out of his Facebook account, logged into the computer, and ended up posting his face to all of his friends and families to see, and contacted the police with his information. He ended up pleading guilty and facing prison for armed burglary. Number 3. Inchworm bandits. After all the entries on our list, you'd think that criminals would be more aware of security cameras by now, right? Well, these burglars sure were. In late 2018, 3 thieves broke into a restaurant's window after midnight in order to make it to the cash register and steal it. When they entered the building, they noticed that there were security cameras recording the inside of the restaurant, so they decided to go down on their stomachs to avoid being seen by the cameras. The only problem was that they were in full view of the cameras. The cameras caught everything from their faces to their statue, and probably get a better view of the suspects than if they had just walked. So not only did they put in all the extra effort, but they also ended up being caught. We will give them props for trying though. Number 2. Hit by own car. In Oregon, the police were called after a man was seen on CCTV cameras trying to break into cars. The suspect was identified as 31-year-old Isaiah John Gently, and after finding out where he was, the police set out to arrest him. Knowing there were cops after him, Isaiah got into his own car and a high-speed police chase ensued. Police chases are never a good idea because the criminal almost always gets cornered, as was the case in the one where Isaiah has nowhere left to drive. Not wanting to be caught, Isaiah opened his car door and attempted to make a run for it until a good Samaritan stopped him in his tracks, his own car. Since he jumped out of the car without stopping the engine, the moving car ended up running Isaiah over, knocking him out for enough time for the police to arrest him. No wonder he wanted to steal some other car. His own car was a traitor. Number 1. Girl coughs an Uber driver. And finally, the outrageous video that made its rounds across the internet this year. In 2021, 3 girls got into an Uber and refused to wear their masks in the midst of a global pandemic. The Uber driver refused to drive any further and asked them to end the ride and leave his car. Furious, one of the girls started verbally abusing and coughed on the driver's face before swearing at him, damaging his car and leaving. The video of it went viral, and the girl attempted damage control by posting her own video of the situation, which didn't make her look any better. She ended up getting arrested and is on trial for felony assault and battery, while the Uber driver ended up raising hundreds of thousands of dollars from charitable online crowdfunding. That's a wrap for the 10 dumbest criminals caught on camera. What is the dumbest way you've ever been caught doing something you shouldn't? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you next time.